Hey everyone, and welcome to Screams After Midnight TV edition. I am Peter, that is Tim. We talk about horror TV in this show, and specifically we are working our way through Tales from the Crypt. We're on Season 3, Episode 11. It is called Split Second. Full spoilers for the episode, as always. And this episode is about a sort of down on her luck barmaid who was trying to get out of town, but she's like making so little money. Some guy kind of tries to force himself upon her in a bar, and this big guy named Steve comes to her rescue, and he asks her to dance, buy her a drink, and by the end of the night he's proposed, and they get married. So
that classic love tale.
yeah, he happens to run a sort of lumber yard kind of thing. He's a woodcutter, and he runs the whole place up in the mountain near where this town is, and she comes up there to live. But the actual main plot of it is that he's a real jealous freak. Like, he's like, anyone who looks at his wife, he gets suspicious. He gets really angry. He beats people up about it. Meanwhile, she turns out getting married after like a couple of hours of knowing someone's a really bad idea, because she realizes within about a day that I'm kind of bored of this. I didn't really want to be married, and she starts to wanting to have an affair. So yeah, and a hot new guy comes to work for him, and she tries to make a move, and that's kind of the setup of the episode. Tim, did you enjoy Split Second?
I did actually enjoy this one quite a bit.
I was not expecting you to say that. I really was not expecting you to say that.
Yeah, I thought this one was pretty fun. It's pretty out there, kind of wacky.
Are we in Bizarro land where I'm not liking episodes and you are? Jesus Christ.
I mean, I'm fine with that as long as as long as I get what I like. And
Again, I thought the ending was kind of funny, but like other than that, like I don't know, like this was like two awful people, right, for different reasons. And I like that both of them get their comeuppance. Like, I was kind of worried that it was just going to be him because he was sort of like the violent like husband who was like jealous all the time. But she equally gets her comeuppance because she was trying to like lead the guy on. She is clearly trying to play games, and she even tries to like say, "Oh no, he forced himself upon me," when when the husband catches them in the act. But yeah, that's. I don't know. I was kind of. I felt like this one was. I was kind of worried where this one was going. I thought this one might get really poor taste early on. It never quite did. It just kind of got goofy. Basically, all the guys that work for him work for Steve. Basically, they all hate working for him. They're constantly being like harassed by him. Like, don't look at my wife, that kind of thing.
And he practically kills like the first guy that kind of makes like a little joke, or it doesn't even make a joke, but gets like blamed for making a joke. He
gets heard
like,
laughing
goes way over the top.
Yeah, he sticks something in his mouth, and he's like, "That's what you said my wife did," and he's bleeding, and it's all over the place. But basically, so this new guy Ted comes, and she tries to seduce him once, and just kind of like is flirtatious about it, like, you know, lets him see her naked coming out of the shower and things like that. And then she properly makes a move, and basically forces him into sex, sort of that night. And the husband finds him, and he beats him so bad with the back of an axe that he's blind. Like, he's blind for life. And weirdly, he still is here working there, and I'm not sure why. Which reminds me, actually, the episode opens, it transitions, like the comic, you know, because Jill in Tales from the Crypt, it always like shows you the comic cover before it goes into the story. The comic cover is like between like a woman's legs, looking through them, and then it fades to two chainsaws like on a cross on the bar, and it's like I thought it was that's a really classy transition right there, from legs to chainsaws.
I kept thinking, is there any like more perfect tool or weapon for the horror genre than a chainsaw? Like, I feel like I just kept getting excited seeing all these chainsaws because, like, oh, you know, like someone's gonna get chainsawed at some point.
That's a little glimpse into Tim's psyche. I got excited seeing all these chainsaws. I wanted to touch myself. Oh, chainsaws. Oh, let's listen to the rumble, the roar of the engine.
Anyway, I mean, it's interesting that that's where your mind went with it, but
Hey, I'm calling it like I sees it, Timbo. Calling it like I sees it. But no, so
but
he gets beat to blindness, and he's still there. And the other
leads
guys,
to blindness.
well, yeah, that's I mean that's kind of silly in and of itself. But the other workers, right, they were really excited about Ted taking part in this tree cutting competition. It's like, oh man, he's the best. Which, by the way, so Ted shows up, right, and he's like, I don't like chainsaws. I don't like chainsaws. I'm old school, right? And he grabs an axe and he starts, whacking at the tree with the axe. And it makes this mistake of right before he does this, we see someone else using a chainsaw on a log, and it's this
Oh yeah.
clean cut, and you get this perfect slice of wood, and that's like the thing, right? And then he starts beating at this tree with an axe, and he's like wasting so much wood because it's chipping away so much like excess, like it makes like a big
Yeah.
sort of like indent into the wood, and they're all like impressed. And I'm like, yeah, but the chainsaw is like doesn't waste as much wood. You're actually
No, I thought the same thing. Like, to be fair, that is very impressive what he did. Like, I would not be able to do that. But yeah, like you said, the cut's not very clean.
to
He's
quote,
doing it fast, but it still does take longer.
It's messy. It's messy. It's wasting wood. I don't get it. There's a reason why people use chainsaws now. And to quote the hit film Jurassic Park, he was too busy preoccupied if he could that he never stopped to still wonder if he should.
I thought you were gonna say life finds a way. Yeah.
No.
Now, I want to talk about the jealous husband, Mr. Dixon.
Who's another actor who, like a lot of Tales from the Crypt episodes, I know his face from a bunch of things.
Well, that's what I kept thinking. Like, I was like, where do I know this guy from? Where do I know this guy from? And then it hit me, Cabin Boy. Yes, this guy was in Cabin Boy.
I have never seen Cabin Boy.
Oh, you loser.
The actor passed away of a heart attack, unfortunately, in 1999.
That's a shame.
Although amusingly, he's got a credit in 2005. I don't know how that worked out, but I guess
Okay.
I guess someone filmed something with him, and it just sort of sat around for a long time. Honestly, the first place I think of him from is actually the horror show, which is sometimes known as House 3.
Oh, okay.
He's like the villain in that. He's like a serial killer who like gets electrocuted, and then like the ghost comes back to haunt the people that he that he dealt with.
Well, I just wanted to mention Cabin Boy because I like mention it whenever I can. Very silly, very stupid '90s comedy that I love.
You like something stupid? What a surprise!
Hey, watch it.
Nah, I'm sure he's been popped in a bunch of stuff. Though he was in Tango and Cash. Like he's had a lot of bit parts and bigger movies and stuff. And basically late '80s, early '90s, he was in a lot of things. He's also guest starred in a bunch of TV shows, and that kind of stuff. But no, so I recognised him. But Jealous Husband. What were we going to say?
Oh no, just that I recognized him.
All right.
From that, but
what an anticlimax that was.
Hey now, one thing I did kind of like about this is I like the camaraderie between like all the other like lumberjacks. Like they're kind of ball busters, but I like that they look out for each other. And then in the end, I like it was them that got revenge for Ted.
Yeah, because he's blind, and it's funny because obviously it turns out they're actually enacting revenge, and they're just telling Ted that it's for the contest. But when they get him up out of the bed and he's blind, and they hand him a chainsaw, it's like, no, we're going to teach you some new tricks. We need you to be in this contest so we can win. And I'm like, how much do you care about this stupid contest? He's a blind man. You don't give a blind man a chainsaw. I was like, how important is this to you? Jesus Christ. But it turns out, of course, they actually get both Steve and Liz, who's the wife, and how you put people in the middle of a tree trunk, I'm not sure, but they put them both in the middle.
Hollow out the trunk, I guess.
I guess it's just like a lot of work, is all I'm saying.
They got the time.
Especially since it looked like the heads were popping out of, like, as if the wood went to their neck, whereas I'd expect it to be completely hollow if it was like that. But they make Steve like cut through the trunk that has Steve. Or they make Ted, cut through the trunk that has Steve in it. And what I liked about this is they don't reveal, even though it's quite obvious what's happening, they just show you all the wood chips and the like coming back at him, but you also see blood squirting back at him. It's like, and all the guys are all covered in blood. They're being sprayed, and he doesn't realize. And I actually really like the shot of Ted's face where it's just like half of it's covered in blood because that's the half that was like facing the tree.
Now, I don't know much about lumberjacking, but I would assume.
Well, I think first of all, I don't think they use the word lumberjacking to describe what they're doing.
Well, I mean, we'll see about that. But
hey, Steve, how was lumberjacking today? It was fine, Bob. It was fine. I lumberjacked me some trees. I was lumberjacking all day up through the mountain.
See, that sounds perfectly fine to me. I don't know. But I would imagine that like the texture of blood versus wood chips.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you would be like, wait a minute, why is this wet? Like you'd feel wet on his face. This is strange. Wood is typically a very dry substance.
Yeah. Like, you know, like it would feel kind of dusty versus the very noticeable feeling of blood splattering all over you. But nevertheless, though, it is like a cool like visual.
Yeah, especially when he's cut it like 4 times and they kick it over and there's like, you know, the 4 pieces and you see like parts of the body like in each chunk. And again, you said they'd hauled it out. The entire thing, the wood went right up to his body. Like it was like there was a perfect mold. It was almost like they molded something and then. But you can't mold with wood. Not like this.
I don't know. I'm gonna assume these guys are professionals. They know how to work the wood, so I'll give them the benefit of a doubt.
Yeah. So obviously Liz is next, and she like has a narration, which she's had all episode. She like throughout the episode she has this sort of noir kind of narration, which is like, oh, I wanted to get out of this town, but the money was bad, and the only tips I got weren't the kind you could put in the bank, and all this kind of cheesy dialogue.
Which I thought kind of worked for it in this instance. Like, yeah, it was, you know, cheesy, but I don't know. I thought it worked for giving it this kind of like sleazy, you know, weird feel to it.
It did feel sleazy. I mean, I didn't hate the episode as much as I was giving you shit for saying you really liked it. I thought it was sort of a middle of the road episode. Well, there's some fun stuff in there. I like the ending, but it wasn't really rocking my world.
This was also one I remembered seeing as a kid, so I always get a little excited for those two.
Chainsaws and nostalgia. That's what gets Tim going. Chainsaws and nostalgia.
I would like to know, like, does this lumberyard just exist in this weird territory that there's like no law? Like,
I was thinking that as fun as this ending is, and they're all celebrating with their beer, like, yeah, our boss has been killed. I'm like, yeah, but like, you're going to have to explain this to someone. Someone's going to come knocking at some point.
Yeah, and like, is there someone else on there that knows how to like deal paychecks and I guess work with whatever manufacturers or they're sending the wood to, like where those responsibilities going to fall?
At least with that, I can buy that they can teach themselves that. They can learn that. They can figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
They can figure that out. I mean, maybe there is someone that already knows how to do that stuff, but at least they can figure that out. Whereas, because presumably one of them was the assistant manager or something.
It's a pretty big presumption.
Is it? You can call him. Is it more of a foreman instead of a manager?
I don't know. I have a hard time swallowing that. I'll believe that they can work the wood to such an extent where they can make form-fitting.
It's not like you
tree
to
trunk caskets,
struggle swallowing things, Tim. It's not like you.
No, I'm usually pretty good at it.
The only way I could think of you could do that to the wood, where you get them in like into it perfectly, and it fills, like you've just cut it out perfectly, is you'd have to split the trunk in half and cut from the inside so that it fits their body perfectly, and then put it back together, like over the top of them. But there was no such slit. We couldn't see a slit where they'd cut it in half.
We gotta find the slit.
There's been a lot of innuendo
That'll
in
solve
this.
everything.
There was a lot of innuendo in this episode. From us, I mean, from this review, not the episode itself. This episode of Tales from the Crypt is far too on the nose for innuendo. It just says things blatantly. But we've had a lot of innuendo.
Yeah.
Wood, swallowing, slits, chainsaw excitement.
Uh, Paperwork.
Whatever gets you going, big guy. But that's Tales from the Crypt. Anything else you would like to add about Split Second?
I mean, I'd love to hear if we have any lumberjack listeners what they thought of the episode.
I like that idea that there's lumberjacks now who listen to podcasts and stuff while they're cutting down their trees. Like that's not that they could probably hear it over the chainsaws, admittedly. But then you get ultra powerful headphones, so you can still hear it.
And I gotta get those Beats by Dre.
Aye, that's what all the hip kids are listening to these days. Their beats.
Yeah, Pete, it's a type of like headphone thing.
I know what it is. Shut up.
You sound perplexed.
I was doing a bit, alright? Let me do a bit. Like you don't do bits. You do bits all the time.
I'm just saying it's weird. If anyone is gonna know about these kind of things, it would be a millennial like you.
What is with this running joke about me being a millennial? You're 3 years older than me, Tim. 3. Interestingly, I saw an article today that some restaurant chains, like Applebee's, are they're blaming millennials for their business declining because young people like to order in instead.
I saw that headline. I didn't actually read that.
I never read it in any depth. I just sort of skimmed the
that is
bullet
ridiculous.
points. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny. Oh dear. Do you know what it is? It's because eating out's so damn expensive in comparison. It just is.
Yeah, like it's expensive. It kind of takes time. Like I love going to a Chili's or an Outback Steakhouse, but it has to be like at a special occasion, you know?
Yeah.
Can't
People
just
do it too often. It's not a common thing you do every week, unless you're particularly well off. And maybe if you baby boomers hadn't screwed up the economy for everyone else, we would be well off enough to go to restaurants a little bit more often.
I stand by the decisions of my generation.
It's not your generation, Tim. Shut up. So, thank you very much for watching our review of this Tales from the Crypt. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz, like and subscribe, all that stuff. It helps us out if you do. You can also help us out by going over to patreon.com/mailedfuzztv and check out some of the bonuses, including of which getting episodes of these reviews a week early. If you're watching this on YouTube, the next one's already up on Patreon. And I was speeding through that for some reason. I don't know why. I had a feeling that I wanted to speed through it. So thank you very much for watching once again. Do all that stuff I said. Keep watching Scary TV. Thank you so much for putting up with Tim. We'll see you next time.
If any of you even look at Pete the wrong way, I'll kill you.